Welcome back to Cork County Matters. We're about to head inside to one of Cork's landmark pubs, the Franciscan Well. This place has gone from monks to mineral water to making its own beer. So let's go inside and find out more. I'm here with Tom, a duty manager from the Franciscan Well, and also a bit of a historian on the place. Is that right, Tom?
Somewhat so, yeah. I would know little bits of the history. There's a lot I don't know. There's an awful lot that isn't known about the site, but there's a lot that is known that we've researched over the years. So originally the friars would have established on this site in 1229. And the main reason was because there was a spring well on site back in the day. There used to be pilgrims used to come and travel to drink the water, and they used to have curative properties for ailments with the eyes, they used to say. But it's been polluted over the last 120 years from all the development on the north side of the city. So unfortunately the water was quite unusable. The water supply currently is quite good for us, but it has no curative properties. There isn't a huge amount of remains of what used to be on site as well. Like there is the old wall running along the back here, that's still here from back in the day. But everything else that was on site got knocked down in the 1540s when King Henry VIII did his census of the country that year, and any land that wasn't in the hands of Protestant landholders got transferred to Protestant landholders. So it was in 1540 that the site got shut down, the friars got moved off and excommunicated, and they just knocked the friary and used the stone for rebuilding elsewhere. After the friary got shut down here, the Protestant landlord wouldn't let the public come in and visit the well. So the pilgrimages started going down to the end of the street where there was the Vices distillery. And that was quite successful for a while. Everyone was quite happy with it until one day the taxman walked in as people were walking out with holy water, and he just looked in the bucket and dabbed his finger in, and it was about 40% proof water. So public privileges to the other local well got shut down then as well in the 1910s to 20s, back when the water was still good. There was a Franciscan Well mineral water brand was established, and their main brand was Citrona, I believe. There's actually an old mirror inside the bar that has still all the merchandising for that on it.
What came first, the brewery or the bar?
Technically the answer would be the brewery, because the brewery was operational first. We had to have beer from the brewery to pour in the bar, but they were both developed at the same time in 1998. Bar owners these days have cottoned on to the fact that it's good to have a local beer. Gone are the days where you'll only have a red ale and a stout. Most bars now will have a couple of red ale taps, a pale ale tap, a wheat beer tap. They might have an IPA, or even if they only have the core range of main beers that most people are used to seeing, they'll have a selection of bottles at least in the fridge. So yeah, things are growing quite well for the brewing industry overall in Ireland. It's amazing the leaps and bounds it's come on over the last 5 years. As I say, I never thought I'd see it growing this well, which is great to see because there's more choice for us, the consumers these days. When we first started off doing tours about a year ago, it's educational because the way beer has gone over the last 5-10 years, it's getting very highbrow. So trying to break it down and show them how it's made, and then when we do a tasting, we break it down again and show you just how easy and simple beer is.
As you were saying earlier, you're running out of an awful lot of space here. There's kegs everywhere, but it kind of adds to the feel of the place as well. It is a brewery.
The feel of the place, but it just adds to the heartache on our side, I suppose, having to move everything. It's like a game of Tetris every day, basically. But we're actually just about finalised developing a new brew plant down the Marina Park. So once that's fully operational, most of the major production will be going down there, and the existing brewery on site here will be mainly a pilot plant producing mainly beer for the brew pub and once-off specials as well then.
When you get set up in the new place, I know it's going to be huge and it's going to be great. Will you give us a tour?
Oh, we will, guaranteed.
Although the Franciscan Well is a spacious and modern bar, it believes strongly in the art of storytelling. Every Wednesday, Shanna Key, Teddy Black, travels from Castletownbere to do a storytelling session right here, and we're about to sit in on it and talk to the man himself.
My grandmother had married my grandfather. The grandfather was Protestant, the grandmother was Catholic. Her name was Green, his name was Black. He was 4'11" and she was 6'2". I can tell you, he was one brave man, and that's for sure. You know, the people at home in my grandmother's family and my mother's connections all would have had great stories, because the Beara Peninsula was full of storytelling. Can you imagine, with the sea and the port and everything, you always had people coming and going, mining. You know, there were so many different things that it was just a home of good stories. And then when I was about 7, I kind of had to go to a farmhouse about 4 miles outside of town, where I thought was the end of the earth, of course, being a little townie. And that was Kathleen and Corny. They were two beautiful people that didn't have children of their own, and I was a little prince there. But every evening it was a rambling house. People called in from around, and that's where I heard all the kind of stories and, you know, the entertainment that they had to make for themselves, because there was no television, obviously, or radio at that time. The rambling house was great in a sense, because somebody said to me, what does a guy like me, an Irish storyteller, do? And I always say that we start our evening with a plain book. You know, a lot of people don't quite understand we're not scripted in any way. Truthfully, it's a completely different genre from what most people know. Some people would say to us sometimes, you want to be back around the fireplace and, you know, and having a little pee outside. That's not true at all. The whole thing is that it was such a beautiful way to pass on your lore and your folklore. I mean, really interesting historical things have been passed on to people. They never actually realised what they were carrying in a story. Anybody who wants to go back and have a look at the poor old Connacht Beara, she was a great old lady. She lives out in Kilcatherine. It's a place on the north side of Coolock Bay. It's such a beautiful peninsula, the Beara Peninsula. We were very lucky when we were younger to meet a man who showed us a lot of archaeological sites. And then, of course, we heard from some of the older people about the Hag of Beara and lots of wonderful sea stories as well. And the story goes that she was a really raunchy girl, the Connacht Beara, you know, this hex. But she had a terrible habit of sort of tempting saints, you know. She'd come around them and kind of slide around them and whisper things in their ear and give them bad notions, and all of this kind of thing was brilliant. While I try to stay very true to the story, don't use it, unless you want to use it for your entertainment. Because sometimes it's totally accurate, other times, you know, it has been embellished. So I've only heard it, Dúirt Van Lung, Dúirt Van Lay. So that's how it goes, yeah. And he really got so angry, this monk, that he jumped up and he chased her. And of course, being a hex or a witch, she was able to jump. And she jumped into the middle of Coolock Bay. And if you're ever out there in a little rib or a small little punt or anything, you'll find this little island out in the middle of the bay with one footprint on it. Because she didn't even land on the island, she just used it as a springboard and got on to the other side of the bay, where the monk, of course, caught up with her. And he turned her into stone. Kind of do like a little social history, where I do the Shanachie stuff, but I also do, you know, a nice reflection, I would say, on the place you come from. You know, both at sea, I was at sea as well. So all of that is kind of what creates the story, not song thrown in. He sat by the fire, he didn't give a hang, he swallowed a spark and exploded with a bang. So if you go to heaven, bet your dollar note, the angel with the whiskers on is Paddy McGinty's goat. Nothing to do with a goat whatsoever. It's been a real pleasure. This is my second season in the Franciscan Well. So I meet people of all ages, all nationalities come in here. But it has been such a learning curve as well for somebody like myself. It's just been, do you understand me, while I feel that I give quite a bit, I get an awful lot from it as well. So you can understand that the 2 hours drive up, yeah, after work it's not so easy, but the 2 hours drive home you're alive, you know, it's hard to even get to sleep. So. But one of the loveliest things, it happened to me, maybe you'll hear it during the story tonight, is where my 4-year-old corrected me when I say 33. She says, "Grandad, I'll teach you how to say 30. 33. And the third. Very good, Grandad. She said, try it again. 33 and the third. Oh, she said, that's very good. Mummy, he's able to say it. 33 and third. Brilliant. I said, what'll I do when I get to 44? She ran in and she said, oh, Mummy, he said the fart word. So no matter what you say to a child, you have to be very careful, because they'll go so far with you, but then they have to work out the next bit. Isn't that right? Television. We'd never have had an opportunity to tell anybody what happens in our little corner of the world. So television obviously has great things to offer, you know, but we didn't have that when we were children. So it was a different form of entertainment. You went down the room, sang your song, you came up, you were waiting for praise, you didn't get it, you were told, maybe you'll sing someday. But if that goes, that part of our life goes, and I can honestly say to you, meeting the younger people from other countries and our own children, there was a young boy in here one night, he started joking with me. when I could tell him not alone who his mother and father were, but who his grandfather, he nearly died at death. He said, my God almighty, you know, do you know anything else about us? Well, I said, we won't be telling anybody about that. So it's that kind of thing. It's living history, really. Shanakees have been there forever, as you know. They're the carriers of lore. Do you know something? We had all kinds of stuff. We had snuff for the old ladies, and we had pipes and clay pipes. And I brought in 4 queeners from out the country. Jeez, the girls, they were very good. Like, when Mike was laid out, we had them all chalked up because his face was very red in real life. Like, we had to put chalk on him, and he was there, and he had the 2 pennies in the eyes. But I'll tell you, when we put the ball of stuff up in the dresser, you know something, the penny'd lift. You have to keep an eye on it to see was it going. Truthfully, there's enough stories for everybody in the world. There's no need to worry about them. If I tell you something and you use it, it's a compliment. That's the point. We're a bit different from other things in that way. Some people get very precious about copyright and all that. But for us, the Irish tradition is hear the story, bring the story, tell the story. If it's good, people will love you. If it's not, well, they'll say, sure, he's trying.
I've been waiting a long time to go to see a storyteller, and Teddy, in fairness, he's one of the best. I really enjoyed the name.
Yeah, definitely we're going to go again. Maybe down to Sneem to the festival in a few weeks' time. We'll see.
Thanks to Tom and to Teddy for a brilliant night. If you have an event that you'd like to have featured on Irish TV, email us at cork@irishtv.ie. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you back here next week.